again, as soon as we start, the AC kicks on. There's no dampeners. We're not in a studio that has cushions on the walls, so you get to hear every ounce of heavy vibration. Sorry, folks.
It is summer in Ann Arbor. Well, everywhere, but...
We're definitely here. Critique-Opolis is back this week. We're doing something a little different. Mm-hmm. This is all reviews of our favorite artists from Art Fair. Some of you may know, if you're in Michigan, you know the Ann Arbor Art Fair was this weekend, and while we generally were cinephiles, Louisa and I have a couple of favorite artists who always make an appearance at the art fair, and a couple in particular, one of which we're going to highlight, but I didn't even realize this. You said there's three?
There's 3 art fairs in one.
And fill me in on that, because you've always lived here. I don't know how it breaks down.
So there are 3 sections to one whole art fair, if you will. There's the State Street Art Fair. There's the Original Art Fair, which I think might be like a Main Street Art Fair. And there's another one, and I didn't remember to look up what the third one is. But, excuse me, my voice cracked. But it's thousands of artists. Like, you can't see everything in one day if you really, really want to look.
I mean, you have to start first thing in the morning, and you get pulled in by every other booth's offerings, and they're all, the artists usually do something. This is like their big show of the year. I mean, there's lots of art shows throughout the year in different locations, but this one is
huge. This is
like the Super Bowl of art.
It's like one of the biggest ones in the country. I wouldn't really be surprised if it is the biggest one in the country. I mean,
how much time did we spend we'd spend like anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes in a booth, and there's hundreds of them.
You can easily spend 5 to 15 minutes in any booth. And that's the thing, is like, even if you walk by or you walk in the booth, like, and do a quick little circle, like look around and come out, I mean, that's still a minute of your time or more, and there are thousands and thousands. Every direction you look downtown, the weekend of Art Fair, there are tents. And it's just, it's overwhelming. You just like have to do it bit by bit. I've been to other art fairs around the country, and I'm always like, this is it?
Pale in comparison.
So, and I'm like, and you know, like you're with family or friends or whatever, and they're like, what do you mean this is it? And I'm like, this is all of the art fair, because again, like you said, this is the art fair that I've grown up with. It's huge in Ann Arbor. It takes over the whole city for the whole weekend.
I don't think we saw it. We went out at, what, like 5:30? No. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, around 5. Mm-hmm.
We were out there till it closed, they were breaking down. They break down. We were 3 hours, and that easy. We were out for 3 hours.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And time goes really fast too. I mean, I'd gone the previous day, and like before you know, like I just like, you're like, okay, I left the house at this time, and then you get back and you're like, whoa, what have I been doing?
I'm stunned with how many, like, because Ann Arbor's on a grid like most cities. But, God, there's like, how many streets are filled with this? Because they intersect. It goes up Liberty, and there's the one up where it hits the theater, where it hits the State Theater.
There's Main Street, there's State Street.
And then when you're going down Main
South
Street,
University.
it branches up further. And then it goes as far south as, what's down here? You know where it comes down by where Erio used to be, where the
William Street,
there's stuff
Williams
down there.
And
I think the thing, before I forget, the thing with being pulled into a booth, like typically you're going to walk into a booth if something catches your eye, and that generally means that, like, if it catches your eye, there's going to be other things in there that appeal to you, whether it's color scheme or dramatic layout or themes or the media the artist uses. But I understand now why people come down for multiple days.
Also, on a different note, there's also a whole art fair on the Ingalls Mall. I mean, it's a part of probably the State Street Art Fair or something
Where's
like that.
that?
But you know, like the spot between like where the fountain is and the bell tower.
Oh, there is? Oh, yeah, there is.
And that's huge because that's another thing. If you've not been to an art fair or you're not familiar, there are tents lining both sides of the street.
Yeah.
So it's like
10 by 10.
rows and rows of artists. And
Some of them have bigger than 10 by 10s.
oh yeah, I think so for sure.
Who sponsored this one? Eli Lilly? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
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 They make drugs or something.
Yeah,
Medical.
they're pretty well known. they're yeah.
Okay, as long as people would know
Yeah,
what we're talking
everyone
about.
knows they are.
But they were everywhere with their cooling fans and their cooling stations, their misters.
Yeah, and a lot of people
big
don't.
red trucks.
I think like Ann Arbor gets, even I bitch about it because it's typically the hottest day of the year.
Oh yeah, thank you for bringing up the weather aspect.
Like today this Saturday was, it was Saturday. It was very comfortable.
Very comfortable.
But 99 times out of 100, it's plus 90 degrees.
All day, every day, and it rains or thunderstorms at least one or two of the days.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's honestly like
you can almost set
completely
your
and
watch
totally
by how that weather is.
Yep. And yeah, this was amazing. I couldn't believe it. Very pleasant.
You want to start with our keynote guy?
Sure.
We came across, what was it, 2 years ago? We came across this guy. Matthew Rucker. If you're listening out there, I love your stuff. We came by and bought a bunch of prints from you. Matt is just captivating as a person because for those of you who aren't into print or art, I can understand what this would be of no interest to you, but Matt's concentration is on what's called vignettes, or the gradient change of a color, like a color background. Let's say it's a deep aqua green. So like at the base of the painting, it'll be a deep aqua green. And then it slowly, as your eye scans up to the top of the print or the top of the canvas, the gradation fades. And it's the same color, but it becomes more and more light. And then he has one element inside each painting, that of an animal, and it's meticulously painted. So it looks like a near photographic representation of whatever animal he puts in the land. And the landscape is just the color. So for example, I picked up a purple vignette print which had a lone elephant in it. And he has two elephant pieces that he's done. The one is, do you remember the names of these? I hope you're looking them up.
I do remember some of the names of some of them.
What was this guy's name?
That one?
Like Always Come Back to You?
Yes, actually.
Always Comes
Thank
Back to You.
Yes.
And then he has another one. Actually, you might want to pull his site up so we can reference him. Because he names all of his animals, or he references them. Like there's one that's a deep, I think it's blue. It's a very slight vignette of dark navy or black, but the picture of the animal is that of a panther or a leopard on a tree branch, and the name of the piece is Obsidian. And it's you can make out the cat, but the black background it's just such a very, very faint alteration between the background and the subject. Every step of the way is the name of the is the name of the other elephant, and mine is Always Comes Back to You. But the thing that as you talk to the artists, this is the neat thing about meeting the people who develop their own craft. Matthew Rucker is colorblind, which the reason why I described the vignette the way I did is because I used to work in commercial printing. I would sell projects, and I did one project that was we made envelopes. These were commercial envelopes for junk mail, and my client was the old phone book company, R.R. Donnelley, and they commissioned, I can't remember who the ad agency client was, but they asked for a large window envelope, an envelope that had a big poly window in the front of it. But all the printing on the outside was this purple vignette. This purple started out dark purple on one side and slowly gave way to a very, very faint purple. And I remember sitting with the pressman and the client trying to get this. He would sit there with a spectrometer, like to measure the density of the dots that the printing press was putting down. And he wanted it to get within 1/100th of each, like, quarter inch. He was on this thing. He was on this for like hours trying to get this vignette just perfect. To the naked eye, nobody could tell the difference at all. I'm like, man, this is a junk mail envelope. People are gonna they're throwing it away. And he would, I remember this client just obsessed about it. And Matthew Rucker's colorblind, so he can't see the difference between like an orange and a tangerine and a peach color. If you put them all that lined up, they all look the same color to him. And I'm telling you, when I look at this, the print that I purchased, he painted that, but he painted this vignette by hand.
It's amazing.
And like, I'm sure he used some kind of, I would guess some kind of silk screen method, but it's a flawless gradation. And he did it by hand, and then did a near perfect photo representation of this animal just sitting by itself just off in the corner. They're very straight, and I'm sure a lot of people would look at this and be like, oh, it's very simple. It's just, they're just kind of, they're pseudo still lifes just of animals. But I don't know, they're captivating. They kind of grab you, and there's an element of loneliness to it.
I love them. It's all the things that you just said. Like, I just love them.
He was a very nice, charming guy. We met his wife, and I would love to be. He's somebody who, like, I would have no problem if I had an extra $10,000 to burn. I would have no problem buying a canvas piece from him. But he's one of the few artists who does commissions for people, because a lot of artists, I think, don't like commissions because clients can be a pain in the ass. I'm sure that's part of it. But you got a bunch of cards. I did one larger print that will end up being framed, but you did a number of cards from him.
Yeah, I just did some greeting cards. I like to collect cards. Whether or not I send them out always remains to be determined, but I like to decorate my apartment with them, and I just like put them up. I don't even frame them. I just set them up on, around the kitchen here and there. They just make me happy. They bring me joy, as people say. But the prints that I chose for my greeting cards that I bought, I bought a really nice panda one.
Borealis.
The panda is Bao.
This is Bao. Borealis is
But Borealis is one of the polar bear prints. And is that the one that I got?
Yeah, that's Borealis.
Oh, thank you. And then I love lemons and everything lemons. So it's called A Zest for Life, but it's beautiful. And again, very simple, but there's something, I think you said, captivating about them. Like,
they're not in nature. They're just this beast.
They just draw me in. I got a giraffe. I may or may not give away to a friend.
What's the giraffe's name?
The giraffe is called Naivasha. and we looked up Naivasha earlier today, and it's a city in Kenya. But that was one of the things I think we learned today that we really liked about Matthew Rucker's work is the names of his prints. And another thing that I was noticing while we're starting this podcast today is, so the animals are very, very detailed. So some of them are not animals. So whatever the subject of the painting is, it's very detailed. And I really like that. But I also noticed the shadows. Like, look at the shadows of the animals.
Yeah, you would
They're
think.
really, you think like a shadow is a shadow, kind of basic and boring, but like, I don't.
It's not like, I think a lot of people, if they were going to try to recreate something and they weren't very, accomplished, or they were more of an amateur, would try to make a outline of whatever it is casting the shadow. Mm-hmm. And for example, and always comes back to you, the shadow is more muddled of the elephant. You just see it. It's almost it's like you would see a shadow out in nature when there's let's say you saw a shadow of a tree, but there's other trees around it that obfuscate, or they become part of the shadow of the tree you're looking at. So, so it becomes kind of a clustered item. It's not like a shadow puppet.
It's a group of trees. There's no detail. There's no defining tree.
Yeah, that's how
it is in nature.
Is.
Yeah,
and but like when he did your lemons, like if you have a light source directly parallel to those lemons, there's just one solid lemon and one cut lemon side by side, and I know there's a lot of people out there who don't give two shits about still life, but it's the story around Matt and what his impairment is and how he could, like, there is no, like, you couldn't hold a gun to my head. I could never represent or reproduce these. The shadow is just, there's nothing spherical about it. It's just a very faint darkness in the background vignette color that comes off, that drifts off. And it's not rough. It's, and we're not art critics. Most people who like art, they just know what they like. And anything by itself that kind of forces the viewer to observe one particular element in their painting, I don't know. If you walk into his booth and you're not moved by anything, I don't know.
And
it
again,
tends to be somebody I wouldn't want to get to know. Go ahead.
That you would want to get to know?
Would not if they don't.
Oh, the person going into the booth and not being moved by it. I see. I wasn't connecting all the dots. I just wanted to read a little bit from his website that he said, because again, his work is amazing in and of itself, but then you add the fact of the little detail that he's colorblind. He says he's severely colorblind. Oh. He sees 1% of the colors a person with normal color vision can see. He feels color on an emotional level instead. These backgrounds are experiments in color mixing and are not pre-planned. I mix unusual color combinations on the palette until the color feels right, like a musician trying to find the perfect note to complement a song. I won't begin painting until the color sings to me.
Under his bio, Matthew Rucker is a colorblind painter who loves to play with color. Surrealist who believes that life is too short to spend it painting things as they are, so he paints things as they feels they should be. He's an artist who combines depth, technique, and levity to create paintings that simultaneously challenge, inspire, and delight. From his series statement, we live in a loud, busy, and chaotic world. Someone or something is fighting for our attention at every turn. Every frame of our vision is crammed with so much stimuli, it's hard to know what to look at, what to see. It's hard to find peace. My paintings are my response to that chaos. Balance is a series of hyper-minimalist oil paintings that embrace simplicity, lightness, and tranquility. These paintings are designed to be easy on both the eye and the mind. Each painting features a large area of ambient. Oh, that's a word I should have just pulled out. I should have. It was just staring me in the face. Area of ambient space in a gentle gradation of the soft pastel or tinted gray. This eliminates context, setting, and noise of the background and instead creates a natural setting for the painting subject. These paintings emerge as a result of my own search for peace, as they are also very personal to me. The singular subject of each painting is a portrait of someone dear to me. The animal subject is chosen before I choose the person that it will represent, not the other way around. Once I've sketched an image into the canvas and my palette is prepared, I then decide who the painting will be. Some are self-portraits, some depict my dog as something other than a dog, but other are portraits of close family and of close friends and family. Once I choose someone or a specific aspect of someone, I focus only on that person and my positive feelings for them, and the entire time I put my brush to canvas. This way, I'm able to transfer my feelings toward that person onto a canvas, adding a significant amount of emotional and personal context to each painting. Oh yeah, and you read this. This is what his asterisk. I'm severely colorblind to see about 1% of the colors, which is.
I can't imagine.
Knowing that when you see this, you're like, that doesn't seem possible. But there's something in his statement there that, like, especially of any of the animals, it almost looks like the animal was plucked out from whatever it's setting. It's like time was frozen. The animal was removed while not moving and put in this ambient blankness. Mm-hmm. It's not blankness, but a color, like ambient color blankness, as it's going about its daily routine. Man, I want to be able to throw 7,000 at you so bad for a canvas. If anybody listens out there and you want to be moved by again, we are not art critics. Most people who like art, they just know what speaks to them. And I don't know, it just stepped out and the spirit grabbed me.
Yeah, I would agree. I would definitely agree.
He has, if you go into his digital print section, you can look at just a number of, he has just so many. I assume that these are only available as prints. I would imagine the originals and the canvases have long been sold off. But Louisa doesn't care too much for octopi, but there is a beautiful purple octopus. What's his name?
Ink Floyd.
Ink Floyd.
I think Ink Floyd is like the one octopus that I've ever had any like.
Look at
like
how gorgeous he is. He's like a purple and orange and white, and sitting on this.
And he looks very friendly.
And then Park Ranger is this big moose on a white background, just moping around. Here's another of an elk. Clever as the fox. And then, did we ever figure out what fairy tale is?
Fairy tale, what do you mean?
That one. Oh, it's a squirrel, I guess. Luxor, the leopard. And Mystic, the tiger. Like, I know there's a lot of pictures out there of tigers, but this one is...
magnificent. I love tigers. I have a thing for, like, animals from India.
This is the thing. I think whenever people paint them, they tend to paint them humongous, and they take up the entire frame of
this
the picture.
tiger that
and it's little.
He painted is just perfect. It's gorgeous. You can just see it slinking towards you.
Yeah, and he's in the corner. You can see it on the savannah, but there's no savannah. It's just this blue vignette background. And, Bahama Mama, the flamingo and the turquoise background.
So funny.
I could go on and on about him. Oh, he has.
I know we must have spent how long this morning looking at them.
You're the one. He has the rubber ducky painting.
Oh, the rubber, yeah. Which technically is a toy.
They're just great. I don't.
I
would love it if we got a call from him. Holy crap! I had a huge spike in sales.
I know. I was thinking about that too. Or if he was like, "I heard your podcast and you talked all about me."
Well,
he has one digital print of an otter, and I know that a lot of people like a lot of animals, but otters are kind of popular. And it's called "I Want to Hold Your Hand," and I just think that's very cute. All of them have such creative names. There are lots of birds. The nice thing too, I think.
December is the elk.
December is the elk. That's nice.
That's also on a cream white background. He has a shark too, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm. He had a few sharks. Oh no, he had a hammerhead shark. I remember, and I saw several whales. I think maybe one whale.
Yeah.
Actually,
he has a puffin, a goldfish. What is that guy? Is that a turtle? Starling?
Oh, it's a deer, curled up. Yeah,
coiled up.
Because I looked at that and thought the same thing. What exactly? Yeah.
Is the koala sitting on a eucalyptus branch?
Yes. Who does not like koalas?
Huh?
I said, yeah. Who does not like koalas?
You.
No, I mean, sorry. Lots of people like koalas.
Yeah.
Is what I meant to say.
His ice cream is parfait, sweet disposition.
Oh, I didn't. That's cute. I love.
It's just a total left turn from all of it. He has all these animals, and then he has the occasional inanimate
fun food.
object.
Yeah. Lemons and ice cream sundaes. He has a painting of a sea turtle, and it's called Mahalo, and I just love that. Because for those of you who don't know, they say mahalo in Hawaii.
All the way to the vineyard is just a fox stalking on a gray background. Tundra is a horse. But talking about these pieces, it's hard to do them justice until you see it. And if it either will say something to you or it won't. But it's just, I don't know, they're striking because of his hyper attention to detail, but then he juxtaposes that with an absolute minimalist overall arch to the entire print. There's just the one subject. The only things in the print are the subject and the background color that fades.
In the words of one of my friends, I should say, stunning. They're just stunning. They're just each one is so. You just want to look at it for a long time.
I understand why people would just buy this and they don't have television. They just want that in their house. They just want to look at it for hours and hours.
I could never ever get bored with. You know how I don't know. You'll have to help me out, but sometimes you see something and you're like, I like that, but
that's not. It's not your people. It's not your.
Or I love that, but it's not these. Speak to me in a different way.
That's the thing. I think I love it when people talk about art. Any art. It doesn't have to be drawing or painting or film or even television or music. There's always something out there that hits a particular person's frequency.
Something they do that they love, that they enjoy, that makes them happy.
These tough guys who've worked on an assembly line for 40 years. But they'll hear a piece of music that just makes them crumple.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This is no different. I can absolutely understand that somebody out there may look at this and be like, it doesn't do anything for me.
The artist wife herself said when we were talking to her, they've had people who've come into his booth and looked at his paintings and just stood there and cried.
Yeah, I believe it.
It's very moving.
I believe it. So, Matt, if you ever trip across this, we love you, and we'll be throwing money at you over several years.
If you find that money tree, people, send it our way.
Oh, please.
Please.
And we were going to take a little bit of this podcast to chat about some of the other people who had an impact on us when we were down there, because I've seen actually we've both seen a couple of them several times. Do you want to talk about your mini teacup guy?
Yeah, I don't know that I have that much to say because I didn't honestly research it too much before. But I've seen this artist several years at the art fair, Ann Arbor Art Fair, which, by the way, I've lived here like my whole life. So I'm very familiar with the art fair, and it means more now that I'm an adult than it did before when I was younger. But I still loved wandering the streets before and after art fair. But being an adult and having my own money and my own place, I love to go to the art fair and see what I can find to bring back. And, again, art just speaks to you, something that you like or you love.
You want it to color your environment.
Yeah.
Like when you're I think you get ideas when you're a young person, but like by and large, when you're young, you don't have shit. You don't have money.
No.
But a certain piece of art or certain components of art speak to you. Mm-hmm. Some people like a lot of color. Some people don't. Some people like something busy. Some people like things that make them think. One of the guys that we came across, Carlos Silva, has the name of his booth is Centuries Clayworks, and he focuses on, I don't know if you'd call them dioramas, but they're like, he makes miniature tea sets.
I would say they're like 3D, 3D art.
They're miniature tea sets or dishes in multiple colors or in a single color, stacked in a variety of ways, and they're framed, but they're an encased frame.
And they're 3D. They're not flat.
No.
Because he's thrown these tiny little is the right word, yeah. Like on a spinning wheel, and made all these little pots and plates. I would like to think of like if you think of Fiesta ware. Do you know what Fiesta ware is? But like very miniature versions of Fiesta ware is how I would see them. But he has, over the years, his styles have expanded, and like one of the first things I remember seeing, I think, is he used to have like a picture of an array of this color pots or this color plates or patterns. And then I think he, I want to say like graduated, like went up to making clocks. And this year they were new to me, but I fell in love with them. All these little stacked 3D tea sets. Sure. Thank you. Yeah, tea sets of little plates with a like a milk. What do you call it? Like a creamer cup on the top, or like a teacup on the top.
There's one we saw. We're looking at Instagram right now. It's just like a framed encasement of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 8 or 10 stacks of multicolored mini dishes with multicolored mini teapots on top.
They're not bigger than like the tips of 2 of your fingers.
Yeah,
maybe.
and they're glazed.
Yeah, and they're
shiny and.
If it was a larger life-size item, you would use it. But these are like miniature, but they're not miniature like dollhouse miniature. They're like a little bit bigger than that. But they're very attractive. We both really like color, and they're very attractive to the eye.
He does a show in, I think he makes all of his money through fairs, because he said he did this one and then he does New York, but he doesn't have a website. I don't even know if you can order. You can email him, but Centuries Clayworks is his Instagram. He's got a little dog that and he made a clock with every other number is either a cup or a teapot.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that. I think I was getting to that, the creations of the clock.
Yeah, that one's pretty new. and he's got this one vertical cluster of just a pile of different.
Oh, I love
pots
those. Yeah. I think if you had space in your kitchen, a clock would be really perfect. But there's something about them. Again, they just speak to me. I love them.
If you have a thing for color, or if you have a thing for miniatures, and if you look, there's plenty of people out there who like tea and coffee, and and you can appreciate a fine tea set.
And you want...
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. You want something visually fun and entertaining to look at. I think it would be a great piece to have in your home or the office or something like that. Like it's fun.
So Centuries Clay Works, and the artist is Carlos Silva. Who else do we have? Oh, Kwame Boama. Oh, this is going to be a mouthful. Kwame is African. He did these ones. Mm-hmm. Remember these?
Yep.
Kwame Boama Mensa Aberapa.
Oh, wow, that is quite the name.
That is a mouthful.
He was lovely too. Very nice to talk with.
I don't think I've ever met an
so
unfriendly...
excited about his work and telling us all about it and answering any questions we had about things. And
just a warm guy. You can tell, like, anybody who's got this depth of, like, I don't know. People are people, you know. You can meet some artists who are full of themselves and disgruntled and angry, but there's some people, especially when... I wonder if there's a parallel between using color and the person's
in the way you
temperament.
feel, yeah.
I don't think I've ever met an unfriendly African in my life.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He did large cityscapes with... Well, I mean, he did a number of things, but he does...
lots of large cityscapes.
Yeah, cityscapes, but with people with obscured faces, and he works predominantly in oil.
There's no fine detail.
No fine details, but kind of like if someone took a snapshot of New York City during rush hour, people walking around, faces are all blurred, and yet a lot of definition to the hard components of the picture, like the edges of buildings, the sides of streets and curbs, and cars popping out of the middle of the cluster of people.
And I feel like the light and darkness have a thing to do with his paintings too.
Yeah, he likes sunsets.
The part of the day he is in the background of his picture, and you can tell when they were painted, or
So I'll try and spell this out. It's Kwame Boama, Kwame space Boama, and his last name is Mensa, Mensa dash, oh wow, Aberapa, Aboram, as in Mary, P as in Peter, A. Definitely worth checking out. But if you like large format canvases, and you're looking to put something in your home, if you're listening... With
heavy, thick acrylic paint.
Yeah, oils and acrylics, I think. Or was it acrylic?
Yeah, maybe you're right, oils and acrylic.
Be ready to part with $7,000 to $11,000.
But just absolutely beautiful. And another thing I noticed, because I also, in addition to color, love flowers. Real flowers, paintings of flowers. I just love flowers. I saw some of his paintings were flowers in vases. A few stems here and there. Again, also very attractive. Just brightly colored and taking up a good space on your wall.
Who else do we have? Oh, your toy lady.
My pop culture lady.
Yeah.
We stopped at the booth of a lady named Amanda McGee, and you can find her at Amanda McGee Art on Instagram and Facebook, or amandamcgee.com. And she had very fun, very, again, brightly colored paintings.
Smaller paintings.
Smaller paintings on a canvas, like a lot in the shape of squares or rectangles. And it was usually a single object, I would say. Sometimes
A lot of toys, a lot of old, like retro toys.
retro toys, yeah, which
Like Fisher
always
Price
sounds
stuff.
weird to me to talk about. But
Like the old Fisher Price stuff.
yeah, old Fisher Price animals, vehicles.
What was the little doll guy? The little
Dog, a Fisher Price person.
Fisher. Okay.
She had now we would call them old telephones, like a rotary phone.
Yep.
And then I think she got on the Barbie train because Barbie is popular again, like
Yep.
the 1960s. Isn't that the right year?
Yep.
Barbie. So like I would call it like a narrow, like vertical rectangle, but of that Barbie, and everybody knows it, like the black and white bathing suit with the glasses on. Speaking of glasses, sunglasses, she also had some paintings small of sunglasses. She had a disco ball that I really liked. She had a donut painting. They were just very fun. And I mean, I guess if you had like some money to spend.
It's like any of these people. That kind of goes without saying. Like,
Oh no, I was just gonna say that you could buy some of them and put them in your daughter's room,
they are.
in your bedroom, or your pop culture.
I think the thing with any art is you want art. I think it serves different purposes for different people. I would want to be inspired by it. I like to have something that I can look at especially in your bedroom, in your home. Like your home is supposed to be a place of solace. And what?
There's flowers on the back of this card.
Yeah. Like your home is supposed to be a place where you hang your hat, where you can reflect. And any of these people have I just feel like an artist who has really put the time in they've kind of honed into the rhythm of the universe. They've kind of attenuated, regardless for how wooey that sounds, they've attenuated to life. And like Matthew did. Like you can't look at his pieces and just not be affected. Oh, you could, but I mean, then you're like, if you're not moved by it,
there might be something wrong with your
you're
spirit.
probably a serial killer. But I absolutely get behind putting money towards an artist because it feeds your soul. Who is this? Oh yeah, Philip Sneed. A lot of urban themes. Most of the subject matters in his pieces are black. His use of color, incredibly vibrant, almost like bubblegum vibrant.
Yeah,
Remember
very
this,
bright.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Passing me the card. Yeah, beautiful.
Like you could have no lights on in your room, and that painting
would almost, yeah.
that painting
I think
would
so, for
illuminate
sure.
it. And do you remember the photographer we talked to? Was that this guy?
Can I see the card,
no, that
please?
wasn't her. There was a photographer we talked to who had the picture of the boombox that was all illuminated.
Yes. Oh, yes, I remember.
Did we get it? We didn't get his card.
I don't think we did.
No.
I think he might have ran out, to be honest.
Oh, yeah. Or I don't remember these guys. Was this the one who did your polar bear bee painting?
No, this is someone else. This is the guy who used all the Sharpie markers and the little dots to paint pictures.
Oh, yeah, I remember that guy. What about this one? Greg Stones? Penguins?
Penguins. Oh, yes, the penguins were doing funny things. I can't remember the one, but I saw something and I thought it would be amusing to you, and I pulled you in to see it.
Oh yeah, there's on the back of his card he has a whole bunch of penguins on an icy shore, like just sitting looking at their buddy who's on a lone teeny tiny iceberg, like a couple feet away from the icy shore, and on the other side of the lone penguin is a shark fin. Just and all these penguins have expressionless faces. They're just things to look at, and they're kind of truisms in a moment of life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, when you're off by yourself, that's when shit happens.
Mm-hmm. And then just penguin. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They're all penguin.
But
themed.
there's no expression on their face. It's just their beak and an eye, and that's it. There's no like surprise or despondentness to them or at all. It's just them standing around, and whatever is happening to them is happening to them. Were we covering anything else? I think there was a bunch of them.
Artists, you mean?
Yeah. Was there anything else you wanted to touch base on?
No, I mean, I think I would just maybe like to sum everything up. We talked about a lot of visual arts, paintings and such, but there
What is that?
all kinds of
You better shut that off.
all kinds of art at an artist had some music. Literally an artist. Summing up art fair. There are all kinds of art. There is all kinds of art at art fair. There's sculpture, there's paintings, there's digital, there's like there jewelry of all kinds. That's a whole nother category. Clothes, textiles. And we just covered visual arts today, but I do like jewelry and I love earrings. And I have bought a lot of earrings at art fair over the years. And I have my favorite artists, just like we do with our paintings and prints that we like. That over the years, you come back and you look for them at the art fair and you chat with them, and they remember you and you remember them. And some of them I follow throughout the year, and then so it's nice to see them when they come back to Ann Arbor. And I don't know, I love art fair. I think it's just very unique, special. And again, there are art fairs all over the country all the time, but this art fair, this is huge.
It's robust, and if you do come out next year, the odds are it's going to be hot. Bring a cooling towel and some water.
And be prepared to eat nothing healthy.
Oh yeah, it's all carnival food. I'm sure there's a.
Don't bring your kids, please.
Oh God, don't.
Don't bring your dogs. They don't want to be at the art fair.
They
Leave them
hate
at home, please. Oh, wear good walking shoes.
You're gonna need
It's not a fashion thing.
I wore good walking shoes, and my feet were killing me at the end of the day. I think is that everything? We got everything.
I think that's good for an art fair discussion.
All right, what are we talking about next? Talking about Blacklist?
I think next we might be talking about the Blacklist. We haven't done that in a while. We have a good movie script picked out, and we also have updates on the movie world, if you will, from the dailies.
As always, that's it. I think I know we just ate 2 hours ago, but I think I might need. I'm already getting peckish, so
Okay.
we'll pick it up soon. Hugs and kisses. Critique-Opolis.
Thanks
out.
for listening.